A majority of the movie Australia, starring Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman, was filmed on location right here in Bowen.
Well, I think it was the laid-back atmosphere and, of course, the beautiful beaches. Coming down the end of the town, we had our jetty, the romantic old timber jetty. That was sort of the crutch that got him here, because he was looking for a jetty. And then obviously walking up the main street and just talking to a few of the locals, come across our very famous pie shop and the very famous Merle, who chewed his ear off.
Well, I met him on the footpath here, and he was a tourist, and he was asking me about the wide streets, why Bowen had a wide street. So I gave him this big history lesson, and then I told him where to go fishing. I told him to go up on Flagstaff Hill, which is the most beautiful view up there. I didn't have a clue who he was until a couple of days later I read in the paper that Baz Luhrmann had been in town and I'd sold him Bowen.
Well, when you came in the first time, I was busy talking to customers the way I usually do, and I looked up and this hand came through and handed me these tickets, and I couldn't believe my eyes when it was Hugh Jackman. And I said, "Oh, it's you." And he said, "No, it's Hugh."
Hugh liked Horseshoe Bay, so a lot of the shots with him and young Oscar and the kids were down at Horseshoe Bay, so that's one of our popular beaches.
When Hugh or Nicole or Baz or his wife would come to the movies, they'd just waltz in the door and buy tickets like they would normally buy, like any customer would buy them.
Everybody treated them like human beings. They didn't put them on a pedestal or treat them differently. You know, be walking down the street and, "Hey, Hugh," and he'd wave and say g'day, and
but I think
he was
that's
that sort of guy.
Good thing about Bowen is that it's so friendly, and I think they picked up on that as well. Yeah.
You can lay on a beach in beautiful weather in winter and probably playing golf on a Saturday afternoon where it's absolutely fantastic. And, you know, you look, it's all beachfront golf, and you look out at that blue water and think, where else would you want to be?
Baz come in for dinner quite a few times, and his wife, CM, and Nicole Kidman, not to drop names. But
A lot of them used to sit out the front here and have a coffee in between shoots and all that, but you used to drive around the back because sometimes he couldn't get in the shop from out the front way, so he'd come round the back and have a cup of coffee, but he'd be busy there with young Oscar. Oscar, his son, would be icing cakes or making pies. He absolutely loved being here.
Brian Brown, which is a well-known actor, he used to go to their local yacht club down there, and every afternoon he'd sit on the stool and look out through the window, and he'd say, "Does anybody bother to tell the world how beautiful this harbour is?" Because they have twilight races with the yachts and all their coloured sails, and it looks very nice on the harbour.
We named a pie after Hugh. We named a Jackman pie, and we used to have it advertised hunky beef pie, and we had Jackman. We crossed out the hunky and we put a Jackman pie. You could see that.
A lot of the movie stars like the seafood, so we've got a great fishing fleet here. So being so close to the Great Barrier Reef, where a lot of the fishing's done, so all your crabs, your Moreton Bay bugs, your beautiful big tiger prawns.
the bottom line is they really loved it here. You know, they was able to relax and be themselves, so that was good.
But not just that, only that Hugh actually, he used to come in every Sunday for dinner, and he signed that on our plate. So they weren't just saying it either.
Yeah.
He signed, "We're back every Sunday," and he was back every Sunday, and that was just, we knew he was actually coming in on a Sunday. So, I mean, and we didn't
Not
go
that we
and,
bragged about that, did we, darling?
When the tourists come to Bowen, they can still see part of the set where the movie was made. The parts that are left are the police station, part of the hotel, and the customs house on the corner, which was Brian Brown's house, the Baron in the movie.
They used our old projectors and all the spools and spool trunks, and even down to the rolls of tickets. They were all used on the set for the Pearl Theatre.
We're hopeful that the police station will stay around for a couple of years without too much damage done to it. But I think with the interpretive centre, with the modern audio and visual approach, will be a lot better than having something there that's going to deteriorate and drop off. So that's what we're looking forward to.
You used to say Bowen's between Townsville and Mackay. We don't have to say that anymore. They know where it is, and it's a beautiful place, and everyone's popping in to see us.
You've heard from the locals and seen what the stars loved, so now come and enjoy Bowen for yourself.